is currently with QuickBooks. Is it QuickBooks Online or is it the software?
It's the software.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you're also using Bamboo. Is that correct?
Yeah, we don't really. We're small enough that we don't really use it for time tracking at all. Bamboo is more just for the other HR aspects.
Okay, perfect. And so, yeah, so our system does, what's great about our integration with Bamboo is that whatever you've already input into Bamboo, it'll push over into SwipeClock as well. So, and it does it pretty quickly. So, like, pretty much once you put it in there, it pushes it through within the next minute or so.
Okay.
So there's that piece of it. So as far as, like, inputting your information into the SwipeClock software. And Brian could probably talk more into the integration with QuickBooks. I'm not sure if it's more of an exporting thing, but we can kind of show you that part of it as well.
Sure.
And so, what about the company? I know that, because I remember I was looking up Postform, and it took me to KW Countertop.
Yes, yeah. So KW Countertop is a division of Postform Limited. It's our retail kind of facing kind of company name. So we manufacture laminate and stone countertops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And so with Postform, then, is that also more focused on countertops too, or does that?
Yeah, that's
the other
the manufacturing of the laminate countertops. So it's just a separate division.
Oh, okay, nice. And then, so your role, then, you're in charge of all the HR and everything as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what does that decision-making process look like then?
For what?
As far as, like, the software and everything, should you move forward? What is that?
Well, go to the management team.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, as far as the integration piece with QuickBooks, what are you wanting it to do? Are you wanting it to just directly push, or I know that we can also export the reporting and everything, and then you can input it into QuickBooks.
Well, I'd like to know both options, what they both look like.
Okay, because I want to say, I know that I don't know if there was a change with QuickBooks and the integration piece. I don't know if our software directly integrates.
Hey, Angela, can I interject?
There you are. Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Kate, so how many employees did you guys say that you have?
Hourly, we have approximately 30 to 34.
Okay, I gotcha. And you guys are doing your own payroll through QuickBooks, correct? Or do you have somebody else that does it?
No, we have a bookkeeper that comes in and does it.
Okay, perfect. And I know that you said on your current system that the lack of reporting is a little bit of a pain point. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when they have the payroll reporting together right now, how do you get that into QuickBooks?
So we have to print it, and then they manually input the numbers.
Okay, I gotcha. And the way that it works, because QuickBooks is quite difficult to integrate with really anything, and there really aren't a lot of options that are available out there, if any. So the way that it would work is we can make it so we can create the payroll reporting, and we can do that extremely quick for you, and we have very robust reporting. All sorts of different reports that you want can be just on the fly. It can just be very easy to be able to put together. And once it's pulled up, it's just simple that you have that. You don't have to worry about printing it out if you don't want to, but you just have that. You have your QuickBooks, and then you just quickly enter the info into QuickBooks and just get that part taken care of. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that that's how it works with QuickBooks.
So it would still be a manual input into QuickBooks?
Correct. Yeah, there's really no way around that, unfortunately. I wish QuickBooks was a little bit more user-friendly when it came to integrating with other software, but yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate you chiming in, because I was like, I know it doesn't, but I don't know how we would work around it. So thank you. And then, Kate, I was wondering too, as far as your process of clocking in and clocking out now for your hourly, is it a physical clock, or how are they Like how?
Yeah,
okay,
it's a physical clock. They have badges that they swipe in and out.
Okay, perfect. And do you have multiple clocks or just the one?
Just the one.
It's in the warehouse, I assume.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And then the office employees, then they're not necessarily clocking in and out then.
No, they're salaried, so there's no clocking in and out.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Well, yeah. So that gives me a pretty good idea of kind of where to take you into the software. So let me do that. Let me pull up that screen. In an effort of saving you from seeing all this screen switch back and forth, I'm just going to pause it for a second. Okay, perfect. So let me know if you see my screen now. It should say TimeWorks Touch.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So the first thing then would be with the physical clock. So this is our TimeWorks Touch intelligent clock. This would essentially replace that clock that you have in the warehouse. How is the clock? Is it just plugged into the wall?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the same thing. This would connect either Ethernet or Wi-Fi. What's great about this one is you would just plug this into pretty much the same spot, and your employees can just clock in and out. It does have the biometrics reader, so we would do it using a fingerprint, basically, instead of the badge.
Okay, so our employees are working with different chemicals and stuff, and wood and water, so their hands tend to swell.
Okay.
So do you have an option other than biometric?
Can I interject on that one?
Yes.
Okay, there are a couple different ways of doing this with the biometric. So the biggest reason why you want to go with something like this TimeWorks Touch is for a couple different reasons. It's essentially the difference of having either a smartphone or just like a Nokia phone, where you can be able to get a lot of smart capabilities with it, to where I don't know if this ever happens with your current swiping clock, if you will. I don't just want to say swipe clock, but with your current system that you guys have, does it ever happen to where someone might accidentally clock in multiple times because they can't really tell if they're clocked in or not, or is that ever an issue with you guys?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, then you're good to go on that. And so the other cool thing on this one is, so first off, if they can, usually it's going to be able to almost always read your finger, and you can have multiple fingers that you can be able to switch for. But just in case it's not, right when you come up here, the screen doesn't look like this. The screen is just a little pad, like a little, like where you can type in a PIN number. So if you don't actually have to type or put in your fingerprint, you can just go in, you type in your code, and then it switches over to this screen, and then you can just mark in or out or switch over to breaks or transfer to another location, something like that. So there are plenty of workarounds on this.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. But yeah, so kind of piggybacking off of what Brian was just saying with the clocking in and clocking out, the benefit of the smart clock features is that once you clock in, you won't be able to clock in again. I know you don't have that issue right now, but the benefit here is, if you do you track the breaks and meals with your employees?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, we can take all those options off if that's something that you don't want to see, or if you want to just make sure that they're taking them. Either way, you just clock in, clock out, and it's pretty user-friendly. So they would just, you can see it's pretty clean and easy to look at. And so this would be the physical clock, and I can show you kind of how that would look on the employee side as far as clocking in. So kind of what Brian mentioned, so not this necessarily, this would be more if they wanted to clock in on a browser, but essentially what it would look like when they clock in, they would type in their PIN, and then they would clock in. As you can see, I've clocked in, so my other options right now are just to either clock out or start a meal or whichever. And so if you needed the employee portal option, so with the clock, you'd also have access to the employee portal. And so this would also give them the option of tracking like their time card or their schedule. I don't know if that's something that you necessarily want them to have access to. Or either.
No, they wouldn't really be on a desktop anyway, and these are production guys, right? So they're not, on computers.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So then, yeah, so then the main focus then would be on the clock here. And then, I mean, we do have other clock options, but this one's going to be the one that has the most features as far as what you're looking for.
Okay.
So it does come with the limited lifetime warranty as well. So if anything happens to it, we would basically, I mean, short of, you taking it with a hammer or something. Other than that, we pretty much will replace it or fix it. So,
Okay.
so that's pretty much. I think that's. I mean, it sounds like that's kind of the gist of it. Now, as far as on the admin side, as far as reporting, so once all your employees clock in and clock out, what you would see then when you log in, this is the admin dashboard. So as you can see right now, I don't have anyone missing their punches currently. I currently have 5 employees clocked in and 2 that are currently not in at the moment. Do you ever have any issues with like if an employee shows up early or whatnot, like do they just clock in and start their shift right away or, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So the other feature, and I totally missed on mentioning, is the clock lockout feature. So that one with the clock, if let's say they're not scheduled and they just happen to show up that day, if they tried to clock in, it would just tell them, hey, you're actually not scheduled or you're not scheduled for another hour, and it won't let them clock in.
Okay.
So that's a feature. If you want to turn it on, we can turn it on for you. And so, but this is what that would look like here. Once I go into the system, oh, let me log back in. 1 second here. I didn't think it would lock me out that quickly. Did you have any questions on the clock while I'm logging into the system here?
Nope.
Okay, perfect.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Okay, good. And then, okay, there we go. So this is going to be the main dashboard. So once I click in from where the bubble screen was, this is going to be what you would see as the admin user. Obviously, the most important piece for you is the reporting aspect. So I'll just go straight there for you. So with the reporting, what that would look like, depending on how many customizations of what you want to see, you have the different pay periods you can look at. You have the different reporting options. If you want to show your wages, dollar amounts, codes, so on, all your employees, so on and so forth. Once you hit submit, it'll show you the list of your employees, different categories if you have, and all of these columns can be customized to whatever you need to see data-wise. I just have some basic stuff showing right here where you would then see the total hours that they work, their pay rate, and kind of what their check's going to look like for the pay period.
Okay.
And then, Brian, you can let me know if I'm correct here. We would just export this, or is there a script that we plug in?
You mean export it to?
For QuickBooks, yeah.
Well, this is one that nothing will export into QuickBooks. Yeah. So, I mean, you can definitely click the export to CSV and it'll pull up the information onto Excel, and you can probably do like you actually may be able to do a copy and paste to be able to switch that over to be able to save a little bit of time. Do you know if that is a capability with QuickBooks where you can just do a copy paste?
No, I'm not familiar enough with it.
Okay, gotcha, because that would save you some time if you're able to do that.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that would be what the reporting would look like. And then as well as for you, as far as seeing your current tracking and everything, as far as who's in and who's out. This right here is going to be where your current, for your current pay period. I have it just for the week right now. And then your list of employees. So anything, like if they have forgotten to clock in or clock out, you'll see the missing punches here in the column for M. Currently, luckily, all my employees are in and there's no missing punches. So, but that's what that would look like. I could then click on any of these employees and I can go in and see kind of like their history of what they've been doing, clocking in and clocking out for the week.
Okay.
So that's what that would look like. Is there anything in particular that you could think of that you'd want me to show you while I'm in here?
Can you add notes to their punches?
Yes, you can. So right here where you see the little pencil mark here, you can add whatever notes that you need. So like for instance, this one, I noticed that they were late. clocked in late. And I can make that note. Once I hit save, it'll show up here.
Okay.
Where the little pencil mark is. And well, you don't have any desktop users, so I was going to say if they were to clock in on the desktops, and they also have the mobile option as well. If that's something that you want turned on, we can also have it where they have access to the mobile instead of the clock, so they can also clock in on their phones, and they can also add notes from there as well. So if they are running late, once they get in, they can log in on their phones, clock in, and just add a note. Sorry, we're late, or something.
Right.
A dentist appointment, or whichever the case may be.
Gotcha.
And that's what that would show. And yeah, is there? I can't think of anything I might have missed. Did you have any questions on the reporting or anything that you're seeing here?
No, I mean, it looks pretty straightforward. What about setting up schedules?
Schedules, yes. So with the TimeWorks Plus, it comes with a basic scheduler where you can plug in. How does the scheduling work currently with your employees?
Well, we don't have it. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But do they kind of work the same, like the same schedule typically?
They do, yeah, typically, but then it alters every once in a while depending on our production levels.
Gotcha. Okay. So then we would go. Let me see here if I remember how.
So sorry, let me expand on that a little bit. So we have certain people who they get paid for their lunches, and others who do not, depending on what shift they work, for example.
Gotcha. Okay.
So is there a way to set that up?
Yeah. So depending on like their job title.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's yeah. So it's a shift thing. So their afternoon shift premium is typically we pay them for their lunch instead of not paying them for their lunch.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So when you set up the employees, and let me take you into there here. So so this would be the employee setup, and you can adjust accordingly the different information, like their job titles and so on. And Brian, you're probably a little bit more familiar with the customizations as far as like the shift changes. Would that be in? Here, you know what? Let me. Sorry.
Yeah, I can interject on that.
Okay, perfect. Do you need me to throw you the controls?
No, that's fine. So basically, and a couple different things to go over real quick. As far as the scheduling, our implementation team will set it up exactly as you want us to set it up. So if you have, say, 4 or 5 schedules that they may switch over to depending on production level, then we can be able to set all those up for you. And then we can be able to assign it all to a specific person. And if they needed to be able to switch that schedule to another schedule for a couple weeks because production levels are really needing to ramp up or whatever your situation is, then you can easily just switch them over to the schedule. You just go into the scheduling part where she is right now, and then you just go into the set view or modify employee schedule by work week, and then you'll see just right over here, you can just select whichever one, and then you can just modify their schedule and just give them a different schedule to choose. And that's going to be set in place. You can also make it so this schedule can be attached to the time cards. And the beauty of that is you're going to be able to see instantly on how close somebody is getting to overtime, just in case paying overtime, or like if in case you feel that you might be paying a little bit too much more on overtime, we can really be able to curtail that. So for example, it'll come up with an eye and a circle around it to where it'll say this person's going to hit their overtime this week within 5.5 hours. And then you might say, hey, congratulations, it's actually going to be an early day this today, so you can be able to leave at a certain time, and then you don't have to pay overtime. And then you can also be able to instantly see when they're late, when they're early, without even having to put in a note. But if they want to put in a note because it's dentist, then they can be able to do that, and you'll know why they're late. And then you can run reports on it. So a lot of cool stuff that you can do with that. And let me see.
What about under over for can you set, so for example, our people who are out on the road, their punches are pretty much to the minute, but then the people who work in the office, or in the plant, I should say, they, if they punch out at like 4:10, it still punches it out at 4 o'clock.
Like you're wanting that to happen, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So even if your plant workers clock out, say, an hour later, then you wanted to be able to have that, or you just want it to round down if it's just within a few minutes?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Round
yeah,
down.
we can set up. Perfect. We can set up rounding rules, and we can make it dependent on a certain group. So we can be able to set up groups to where it's the manufacturing group and then just really everyone else. And the manufacturing group is where the rounding rule is going to apply.
Okay.
So that's completely fine. And then also in addition to that, when you were talking about that you wanted to be able to have a certain amount of people to where they get paid for their lunch, is that what you said?
Yep.
Perfect. Then once again, we would just split up the groups, and the ones that you want to get paid for lunch, then we can be able to activate that on the employee setup, and then the rest of it, then you wouldn't have to worry about paying them. They would just not get paid for their lunch.
Okay. And is it easy to switch them?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's unbelievably easy. Yeah, and the cool thing is with our implementation team, once we have everything set up for exactly as you want it done, then you will be able to have everything exactly as you want that's perfectly customizable, and then they're going to go and they'll train you, your staff. You can be able to have whoever you want in on that. We'll be able to give you employee controls. You can also be able to have supervisor login, so they can be able to have access to their own employees and do their approvals of the timesheets. And then you're also going to be able to have the administrator, so they can be able to take a look at what the supervisors have done, be able to do a full standoff on that. But in addition to it, we'll be able to record that, so you'll always be able to have that available if you have someone new coming on, so you can be able to let them know the ins and outs of it on all sorts of levels. And then we'll also finally give you a support specialist for the first 45 days. So you'll be very comfortable with doing your first few payrolls and know how to do it in as much of a streamlined fashion as possible. So yeah, it's going to be very, very helpful, because the thing is, we do month-to-month contracts, so we always know that we always have to earn your business. So because you can frankly leave at any time. So we just want to make sure that you're always well taken care of, and we give you lifetime support.
Awesome.
Does that answer your question?
And then, yes, yeah, absolutely. And then what about, how long does the information stay in the system? Is this internet-based? Is it software-based?
Yeah, because what we do is the website, just SwipeClock.com, we just give you access to, we essentially give you a client account, and you can be able to go in and you just do your login, username, password, and then you're logged into this screen right here, and or
so
whatever screen you want.
Website-based. We don't need
yeah,
to
it's definitely website-based. You don't have to, exactly. Now, another thing is you can be able to download a mobile app, and you can be able to have that on your phone. So basically, the employee portal that Angela was showing you right at first, you can just minimize that down, and that's just going to be what it would look like essentially for a mobile app. So, wow, that's actually really cool. Angela, I had no idea that you could be able to switch it between all those different types of phones. Fancy.
I know. I learned things.
Yeah, good grief. That's amazing.
Sorry, and how long does the information stay up there for? So currently, I only have, on my current system, I only have 50 slots. So as I'm hiring and terminating people, I have to actually print off the punches to files so I can reuse that slot. So how long does the information stay up here for?
Unlimited amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're cloud-based, so it just goes into the clouds, up into the sky. So
yeah.
I mean, you can really keep it forever. We have tons and tons of server space, so it's virtually unlimited. And the cool thing is, well, this part's not cool, but if in case you ever get audited, you are going to be able to have years upon years upon years of super accurate, on-point information, and all they have to do is just go in, run a report. It takes them 10 seconds, and then they've got everything that they're going to need. They're going to be your best friend, as opposed to being like, oh, what are you doing? Like, these reports are terrible.
Okay. And what about, are you allowed, is there any kind of functionality to tie people to a project? So you would know, like...
Explain.
So, for example, I know it's different here in Canada for taxes than it is there, but we have this program here called SHRED, and it's a tax-saving program that is around research and development. So every year at tax time, we will look at all of the research that we've done and innovation, and then we have to tie people and their wages to those projects. So again, it's a very manual process for us. So I'm wondering if there's any possibility to tie them to a project.
Yeah. I mean, there definitely is a way. I mean, you can even go in and let's see. Okay, yeah, it looks like I have controls now. That's fancy. All right, let me go in and show you a couple things. Because I'm just hoping that I'm going to answer your question. But
yeah, that's all right.
What you could do, actually, you can do it a couple different ways. You can either come in here and you can select a department, if you will, and on the department, you can be able to give it whatever project name you want, and you can be able to assign it to them. But probably what would be easier is you just be able to assign static groups. And those static groups is what I was mentioning earlier, to where you can be able to have the split up between the people who get paid for lunch and the people who don't. And within those groups, then you can say, this one is going to be for this project and this project and this project. And then you can be able to print out a report of all of your static groups. So you'll be able to have all that down so you can fully automate everything. So just let our implementation team know about the details of the project and what the projects are called, who you want the people to be assigned for the projects, or even if you don't know now, then just let us know as much information as you know now, and just frankly give us a call or shoot us an email when you know who you need to have assigned to that, because we don't expect you to remember this in a few months. So just let us know how you need it done, and we'll get it taken care of for you.
All right, perfect. Okay, sorry, it's past 11:30, and I've got another meeting. Can we talk about pricing?
Yeah.
Talk about cost?
Absolutely. I'm going to let Brian do this, because he's, as you can tell, he's way more familiar with everything than I am, so I'm learning.
Sure.
I know nothing.
That's
Well, did we already figure out, let's see, you said that you guys do your payroll 100% and you guys you don't send any information outside to do any of that, right? Like you get everyone paid, you get paychecks printed out, everything like that?
Yep, everything's done in
Okay. Cool. Now, I know that you said that some of the people, and by the way, I don't know if we ever asked this question, do you guys need a system to be able to handle the accruals for paid time off and all that? Or do you guys already have a good system?
Yeah, so we pay out vacation on each pay, so there's no accrual in that sense. So we don't pay out time off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we just
gotcha.
automatically add 4% to everybody's paycheck, and then that way when they do take time off, it's unpaid at that time.
Oh.
Okay, I gotcha.
So you're take any time off, you get an extra 4%.
That's pretty nice.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard of that before. Is that a common thing up in Canada, or is that just specific to you guys?
No, it's just one of the options that we have here.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's really cool. All right, so I'm imagining that, okay, well, in that case, I won't even worry about going into the accrual part of it. Now, do you have individual employees to where they get paid different amounts for different jobs that they do, or is it just very static on that?
No, they're static in their wage.
Okay. And you guys don't have any like shift differentials or any specific holiday things that need to be adjusted, or overtime fancy things or anything like that?
I don't know what you mean. So we have set holidays that there's a calculation for, and then after anything over 44 hours is time and a half.
Okay.
You've got public holiday works pay in case anybody works there. That's paid out at time and a half.
Okay. Okay, great. And, well, I mean, are you guys a 24-hour facility?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then you probably don't need anything super intense on our implementation setup. So that's the reason why I'm asking all these questions, just to find out what level would make the most sense for you guys. So with you guys having a few salary office workers not needing to use the system, period, is that correct? That some are not going to need it? Okay. How many employees do you feel are going to be using the system?
Let me just do a quick check. About 32.
32?
Yep.
Okay. Now, we could always set the minimum at, say, 30, that just in case, for any reason, a couple of them may just not work that month or something like that, just to be able to give you a little bit of flexibility on that. And so that'll be for the pricing of it. And just in case that it gets up to 34, 35, something like that, then it would just be an additional, because essentially the way that it works for a monthly basis is you're looking at $4 per employee per month of the ones that use it. So if we're just to base it off of the 30 employees, then we're essentially looking at $120 a month for that part of it, and then just $10 a month to be able to do the data essentially for the transmission with the clock. And so essentially you're just looking at about $130 a month. And like I said, these are all month-to-month contracts. We don't lock you in on anything long-term. And then as far as the clocks, I don't know. I mean, I think that you are probably one of the few clients that I've ever dealt with to where I feel that you could probably even go with the less expensive ones, because a lot of the functionality that we have with our more in-depth one, the time work touch that Angela showed you, you frankly don't need a lot of those features. So essentially that clock is $949, which is a one-time fee for the clock activation and everything like that. Although you can go with a less expensive one and save yourself probably give or take about $300 to be able to do that. And all of them are going to come with a limited lifetime warranty. And yeah, so see something like this to where you can still be able to get a biometric finger reader and all that and be able to have the pin on there and all that. Or you can be able to do ones with a swipe card, with a proximity card. There are a lot of different options that you can do. So yeah, you're looking at give or take anywhere between $600 and $900, if you will, for a clock. And like I said, that's a one-time fee. And as far as the implementation, go ahead.
All of these costs are in US dollars?
Yes. Yes, they are. And I have no idea what the conversion is right now, but you probably do.
Yeah.
Cool. And then just the one-time fee for being able to get you all set up with our implementation. And like I mentioned, we do give you the lifetime support then on and do the training and record the training for you. The one-time fee of that to get it set up is $188. And other than that, that's essentially how everything is laid out. And yeah, so how does that sound for you?
Sounds good. So I'm going to present the information to the management team probably next week. And if we have any follow-up questions, we'll reach back out.
Okay, sounds good. And do you guys have an idea of time frame? Like, is this a
no, it's not
something where you want to get this up and running?
No, it's not
urgent. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. Did your boss just casually want you to check a few different options and see what was going to be out there, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Okay, perfect. Now, have you had an opportunity of checking other options and seeing what they look like?
Not yet.
Okay, cool. Well, I was wondering how we compared with it, but I guess how does it compare to your current system?
So our current system right now was we paid for the clock itself, and then that's pretty much it. Like that's literally it.
Oh, okay.
So we buy badges when
Okay.
we need to buy badges, but it was a one-time cost. So there's no monthly cost or anything like that. Only per service.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I guess that would explain why they don't really hold a lot of info and they don't do reporting and all that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so very,
I definitely
very
understand.
basic. Yeah, it's very
Sure.
basic. Okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys very much for your time.
Yeah, sure thing. We'll shoot you over the proposal.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You bet.
Bye.